Hey folks, Bob here, Bob's Classic Cars and Parts. We're continuing to work on this Mercury Sable, and it's part of our series of trying to get these older cars, keeping them running good and on the road. So we've put headlights in it, brand new headlights. We did a valve cover gasket on it last week, and now we're going to put brake pads and rotors on it. And I don't know if you can tell, but the rotors, you can see they're grooved up pretty good in there, and the brake pads are down. Maybe a couple thousand miles left on the brake pads. All depends on how much stopping you do. So we're gonna pop these wheels off, both front ones. And I gotta see what tool I need to get the caliper off. And then we'll order the pads and rotors. And we'll try to get you a good video of all that and how you go about doing that. This will be the same. This is an 04 Mercury Sable, should be the same as a Taurus. I'm not sure how many years, because I'm more of a classic car guy than some of these later model cars, but I think several years there, 7 or 8 years there, I don't know if it was 7 or 8, but 4 or 5 years at least, these Taurus and Sables were the same through the 2004 era. So you guys can help me out with that. But let me get set up and get the air compressor turned on, and we'll get these wheels off. Okay, you got to take these center caps off before you can get to the lug nuts, and it's real simple, and I'm doing this one-handed. I use a screwdriver, just a regular old dollar store screwdriver. That's what they're good for. Kind of hold it with my knees so it won't fall and break. And just like that, it pops off, and that reveals your lug nuts, which are probably metric. So let me see if I've got a metric impact. I think I do. I've been working on some of these late model cars here lately, so I went and bought some Amazon metric tools, so I should have that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got one of these two-way impact sockets that a lot of your tire shops used to use back in the day. I don't know if they still use this or not, but it's 3/4 on the shallow end, right here where my thumb is, and 13/16 on the big end, the deeper end, the wider end, the bigger end, right here where my thumb is now. So it just happens to luck up. The 3/4 fits pretty good. Good enough. In my experience with these lug nuts, that's about right. So I think we're good. So let me get the air compressor cut on, and we'll zip these off right quick. Looks like I lost some footage here, guys, so we're just gonna jump right straight into removing the caliper. Okay, guys, on the back side of the caliper, right here, there's 2 bolts. I got the socket on one at the top, and there's another one down here at the bottom. Socket on that one. Now they are 12 millimeter. And this is don't have my impact sockets at my other shop, which is useless. So we're gonna break them loose with we're gonna do this, okay? And then I'll show you how to get the caliper off. And then once you get the caliper off, you need to hang it up, and I'll show you about that. One thing I did notice, this rotor here has very light grooves. They should turn out, but you need to, the other one's grooved and I got to replace it. You need to replace these in pairs. I looked on Rock Auto. Rotors and pads, they sell them as a kit, and it's a Wagner, which used to be a good name brand. I guess it still is. I can't keep up with who makes what anymore, but Wagner should be a good brand. It was 60 bucks. Ironically, the off-brand Centric was quite a bit more, which makes me curious, but 60 bucks for both sides and the pads. So I'll probably just go ahead and spend the 60 bucks plus the shipping and get the new rotors and new pads, and quit trying to be tight. Okay, guys, so I got my caliper off and got it hanging from with a bungee cord to kind of keep from weighing down on that rubber line. I don't want to stretch that rubber line. Probably should set it up a little higher, let it rest on this, I guess, but I'm a little worried about that line. That might work. Ran into a little snag. The 12 millimeter that I got was a 12 point, and it was starting to round off the bolts. There's the 2 bolts, got them out obviously. So I had to go back and get a 5 point, and that popped them right on off. Now that's not the end of the story. Wait a minute. As you can see, there's 2 more bolts here and here that holds this caliper bracket on right here. Holds this caliper bracket on. So we'll take these 2 bolts off here and here. That's what holds the caliper bracket. When we get that off, this bracket will get out of the way. And Now I'm beginning to wonder if he needed to take the caliper bolts out. I'm curious. We'll look at that when we get it apart. Okay guys, so I got the bolt out. I had to use a breaker bar here. And it was a 15, I think. Let me check it here. Yeah, 15 millimeters is what I came up with. I tried a 14. You can't see it, but I tried a 14. It wouldn't go on, and a 16 was too loose. So, alrighty. Caliper bracket just basically fell off when I took the bolts out. So the top bolts are for the caliper, and the bottom bolts hold the bracket in. And of course, right here and right there. I'm not real crazy about the way this caliper is hanging. It slipped twice, and so now we got another little problem. I was hoping this rotor just slid off, and it doesn't. It's held on by a gigantic. Probably take an act of Congress to get that off. But let me see if I got a socket. I don't think I do. If I don't, I'll have to research what socket to purchase. And man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I'm gonna have an air compressor to get it off. Man, let's put this back together. Take it to a shop and have it done. Okay, guys. So went inside, took a lunch break, and while I was in there, I got on the internet, did a little research, and that nut does not hold that rotor on. It was just simply stuck. So I took my little brass mallet. Where is it at? Right here. Brass mallet. Just kind of tapped around it a little bit and it popped off. No big deal. I didn't like the way I had the caliper suspended. It could have failed. Probably wouldn't have hurt nothing, but I went on and tied it up with a wire. I still got the bungee cord on it, but just as a backup. But so we're good right there. So I am going to order the brakes for the other side, and excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and get on the horn and order the get on the internet and order the brakes, and we'll go from there. All right, I got the other side apart. This is the rotor I thought was grooved up pretty bad, but as I look at it, and I never run my bear, I got glove on this one hand. It's got a little bit of grooving, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm going to. I know this is going to be against a lot of you guys' morals. I'm not even going to turn that. This is an old car that I'm just going to use to drive around town. Not going to be going on any big trips or anything. So I said earlier in the video I wasn't going to take shortcuts, but I don't know, man. Is it worth 60 bucks to get? It probably is, but I don't know. I'll get on the internet and see what pads cost. The pads are like 20 bucks for the set. Saved me $40. It's not a customer car. This is my car. I inherited it from my father, who's too old to drive. He's 94 years old, and he hurt himself the other day, so he can't drive anymore. So I did find out one thing. I went on YouTube and was watching another guy do the brakes on one of these, and he said this groove you see right here, and he was a certified mechanic. He said when you look down through the top, when the caliper's on, you take the wheel off. He said this was engineered so when you look down through the top, if you can't see that groove or you can barely see it, then the pad's wore out. It's past its, it's kind of like a wear indicator on a tire. And you can see there, this pad here is clearly, this part through here where my thumb's rubbing is smooth, and it's got a little bit of a groove left in it. So these pads were definitely in worse shape than the ones on the other side. Let me, I just hate this. I don't think putting brand new rotors on it's going to make that big of a difference. You know, back when I was in my 20s, I cut corners a lot. So, oh, I know you guys are going to beat me up. I can't help it. I just don't see the need in putting new rotors on it. I just don't. This side on this side is a little worse, but that's going to create some heat spots. But I'm not going to be going across interstate and cross state with it. I'm just driving around local. I don't know. If I decide to sell the car, I'll have the confidence in knowing I put new rotors. I may do that for 60 bucks. So what the hell. Anyhow, let me get on internet, order some parts. One thing I like to do is, you see I put all the bolts back into bracket. I like to put the lug nuts back on the studs. That way they don't get lost. Back years ago when I was working in my driveway or the backyard, I was young and didn't have very many tools and very little experience. No shop. And I'd always have to pick my tools up, throw them in the trunk of the car, and it might be, I don't know what's going on with that. It might be a while before I get back at it and I forget where everything went. So the good thing about having a shop is you can lay stuff out. Of course, this is a pretty easy job. I don't need to do that, but put everything back. That way, if I want to, I won't kick one of the lug nuts and it goes flying up under there somewhere, and I got to dig everything out to try to get to the one little silly lug nut. So, all right, let me go order some parts. I'll be back when the parts come in. Okay, guys. All right, we're back. The rotors came in, the pads came in, and they've got a little bit of a film on them. And it looks like they do have a pattern. It's like a crosshatch pattern. You see that? Both of them. So I'm going to take this brake clean and clean them up, get that grease off of them, and both sides. And I was going to sand them, but I don't think we need to. They already got a crosshatch built into them. That's good. All right, all you do here is just I spray them with the brake clean and just wipe it down. And try not to get your fingertips on it too much. If you can, we'll touch it, we'll wipe it down again once we get them on the car. But that's all it is. That just gets that film of, I guess, some kind of grease they put on them to protect them from rusting up. These are Ray Bestis brake rotors. Back in the day, Ray Bestis was a good brand. Oh man, so many things nowadays. Things have changed. Stuff you used to be able to count on, you couldn't. So I don't know if Ray Bestis is a good brand or not. I guess it is. I would think so. They look like they're good quality. So let me let those dry and flash off, and I'm gonna flip them over and do the backside. Okay, they're good and clean. Look at how dirty it got that rag. Amazing. That's why you got to clean these things. It gives you a better surface. Alrighty, let's get this driver's side on. Okay, so this is the caliper bracket. I got the rotor on. I put two lug nuts on to hold it on steady. They're conical lug nuts, so they got a little crown to them, a little conical shape. So I just made sure they both fit in there nicely. So the rotor's on there like it's supposed to be. Now, this is the caliper bracket, or caliper cradle, some folks call it. These are the sliding pins right here. And the caliper is supposed to slide across these, I believe. I'm pretty sure. And it's real rusty right here. So I'm gonna get my file out. Pardon me, I'm gonna get my file out and file that down and put a little bit of white lithium grease on it. And that way it should let the caliper slide correctly as it needs to. And that you'll get much more even wear on your pads, and they'll stop better. So let me do that. Okay, so I just kind of mocked this caliper bracket on just to make sure it would fit this rotor. And as you can see, here's the size of the rotor right here. 24.75 millimeter, and there's another number. And that's all just for reference. So we got just a little bit dirty right up in here, so putting that on. But I just wanted to mock it in, make sure everything would go in there like it should. So we're gonna take these bolts back out, and then I'm gonna clean that caliper. Okay, I took the slide pins out, and you can see they've got a lot of grease on them. I guess you can see that. So I got those out. And then we just simply get the file and right in here where the caliper slides until you get it shiny. And you can see the amount that's already come off of it. And it's getting a little bit shiny. Let me keep doing that, and I'll be back with you in a little bit. Okay, I got this one cleaned up a little bit, and that's good enough. Just try to get like I said, we'll put some white lithium on it, and I went on and cleaned down in here a little bit too, so the caliper will fit down in there a little easier. And you don't want to take any metal off. Just kind of scuff it up. Probably could do that a little bit better right there. And this is what I use, a flat file, not a flat file, square file, and a triangular file. I guess there's probably a more proper name for it than that, but let me hit this spot here just a little bit better. Okay, when you pull these pins out to check them, always make sure you pop them back in. You'll see them seal right here. Well, listen to the little pop. And that seals that boot. And no moisture will get in there and you should be good to go. So let me get my ratchet and I'll continue to tighten these bolts down that hold this caliper bracket on. Okay, the caliper bracket is on. And next we'll fit the pads in. We got to put the grease on them, so I put the grease on and fit the pads in. And I do not know the torque setting on these, so I just did a ooga wooga with a breaker bar. And because I don't have a book for this car. And I matched the old pads up to the new pads, as you can see. They look good. I think we're good to go. All right, I got the white lithium grease, the spray can. I think we're good to go to mount the caliper. Put the pads in and mount the caliper. And the pads, they just simply slide right in. Easy peasy, nothing to it. Okay folks, well I've got a tool that's made to compress that caliper, piston in that caliper. Can't find it, so I'm gonna go with the old trusty C-clamp. Man, that's a shame. That thing worked really good. Yeah, you take your master cylinder cap off, and that allows, as you push the fluid back up, it allows it to come back up and any air escape from that. So let me see if I can get this thing fitted on this caliper. Okay, so I got it mounted the best I can. You gotta be careful. You don't want to crack this cheap housing on this caliper, and I don't want to put it on this bolt back here. So I wish I could find my tool. It pushed against this side and that side. You put one of the old brake pads in, and it pushed again. It kind of spread them out. So I don't know what I did with it. Okay, as you can see, it pushed the piston in pretty good. I don't know if that's going to be far enough or not. We're going to give it a test try and see what happens. If it's not in far enough, we will tighten it down, push it back in a little more. Okay, that did the trick. And just sometimes you can just pull these back and it'll fall on in place. I got the dead blow hammer here. I can just kind of tap it in place. So let's get the bolts in it. This side will be done other than cleaning it up. Well, that pushing that piston back in that caliper brought that brake fluid up a little bit, maybe a 1/4 of an inch. Of course, if we do the other side, it'll go up that much more, but we definitely need to top it off. I'm pretty sure when we get the other side done, it'll need topping off, but it needs flushing. Look how dirty it is. Okay, guys, got the other caliper bracket cleaned up a little bit. So the pads will move and slide, and everything will just function a little bit better. I think that's good enough, about like the other one, and I degreased the rotor as you saw. So let's go install this side. All right, I got the other caliper bracket on and good and tight. And now what I need to do is I need to put my little lithium grease on these little contacts here like I did the other side. And I need to compress the piston in my caliper, install the pads, and should be good to go. All right, guys, so I got the brake pad, the old brake pad to use to press against, and I got the piston all the way bottomed out. And we are ready to install that bad boy. Now, on the other side, when I went and installed this caliper, these pins here, I'm not sure what these are for. I'm not a brake mechanic, I'm just a do-it-yourselfer in the backyard kind of guy. I guess they pressed down, and when I did that, when I installed it with these, all 4 of these spring-loaded pins pressed down, I had a hell of a time getting the caliper to go on. It really fought me. So I ended up leaving one of them up. And when I leave one of them up, this back side you can't leave up because it's blocked back here, but the front side won't poke up. I was finally able to get the, it's raining pretty hard outside, finally able to get the caliper bolts screwed in. And by the way, these have an edge here. I wonder if I can show it to you. See how it's flat right here? It's flat on 2 sides. That's for a reason. It has to go up against the caliper. Make sure you turn that correctly. I learned that the hard way. I gotta close that door. Let me shut this video down just for right now while I do something about this door in the rain. All right, this caliper's on. Everything's good and tight. The bracket's tight. The caliper's tight. Now I need to replace this rubber line here as a precaution. And it turns freely. It's still connected to the transmission. I've got it in park, but it's turning. No problem. Front-wheel drive car. What are you gonna do? So let me worried about this weather right now. It is really raining out there. I may come back a little bit. I need to break that loose. 2 bolts and the line, and put this hose on. Okay, guys. So I practiced on the other side. Got back over here to the driver's side. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I got to take this. Going to replace this hose, brake hose right here. And as you can see, I've already sprayed some PB Blaster on this fitting here where the hard line goes into it, and on the back of the caliper. I just knocked my glasses off the back of the caliper back here. Hold on a second. Let me get situated right there. So the hard line is a 13 millimeter. See if I can get this to focus. There we go, 13 millimeter, and it's a line wrench. And if you're familiar with a line wrench, that's what you need when you're working on brake lines. And then this bolt right here is a 10 millimeter, which is this right here. Oh, I cannot get it to focus. There you go. 10 millimeter. Can you see that? It's hard to see. And that fits this right here. Like that. And there's a bolt right back here. I can't show you because I got the wheel turned. Easy to get to once you turn the wheel back the other way. That's a 10 millimeter. And then this one here is a 10 millimeter. So 10 millimeter is what you need. I got the extension bar to gain a little access. And then that 13 millimeter line wrench. May set you up on the tripod. I fought the other side a little bit. We'll see. I'm gonna break this one loose, but you understand what I'm doing here. Just simply breaking these bolts loose to get this off. And we'll think about putting it on the tripod if I can. The video's getting real long already. I know you guys like to watch the process. I understand that, but let me get this one loose and I can turn the wheel and we'll set the tripod up. How's that? Still a compromise. One more thing you want to look at is make sure the threads, before you install all this stuff and break the line loose, make sure the threads on the new part are not damaged. And this brass fitting was not in it. It was laying in the box. So I had to make sure I got that good and tight. And I got it tight. Once I get everything installed, I have more leverage and I'll tighten it up a little bit more. And it's a 10 millimeter also. Alrighty, let's get at it. You don't want this, you don't want to bend this line right here. See my finger? At least you can see my finger. This line right here, the metal line. So make sure I sprayed this with the PB Blaster, let it soak for a little bit. I probably should have sprayed it a couple days ago and sprayed it again yesterday. That would have been the ideal thing to do because it's been a few days since I've been out here working on this car. I had to work on that Dakota. You'll see a video of the Dakota. It was overheating on me. I finally, I think I had an air bubble and whatnot. I never had to have it towed twice, but more about that later. But that's my daily driver and my main vehicle. So this Mercury is just something I'm fixing up to sell. This is why I didn't want to put you on a tripod. This thing just takes so darn long to get out. But you see what I'm doing. Let me cut you off. You see what I'm doing. Let me get this off. I'll cut you back on when I get to the other ones, okay? Okay, so I had to turn the wheel back so I can get to it a little easier, get a longer turn on this wrench. But I about got it out, I think. These line wrenches, they're only a certain spot still fit. It's not like a regular wrench. All right, that's pretty loose. Let's see if I can get it with my finger the rest of the way. can. How about that? Look at that. All right, so that line's out. So good. And I got me a catch can under here, but this jack stand's kind of in the way. It's not catching it all. That's okay. All right, let me turn this back so you can see me breaking that other bolt loose with the 10mm. It's right back here. And that's just holds this, it's a metal bracket right here, and it holds this hose in place. So I got that broke loose. Now let's break this one here loose. And like I said, have that pan handy because she's gonna drip on you. I could use power tools, I guess. I've just always been an old-fashioned wrench guy. Probably should use power tools. I've had this off by now. And I already measured and checked the part against the old one. It looks like it's the correct part, so the other one on the other side was. Let's check the shorter ratchet. All right, save that bolt there. Gotta get this bolt here out. Still, we just broke it loose. All right, that one's out. So there's the two bolts right there. You can see them. Oops. Two little 10mm. So got those in. Pretty sure the pointy one went right here. On the other side, they were the same. All right, now let me take the caliper loose back here in the back. Should take just a second. Get that loose. It's already broke loose, but let me finish taking it off. Could have turned the wheel and got too easy. Now what happened on the other side, you need to save this bolt. It don't come with a new bolt, the caliper bolt. Turn that away a little bit. And it didn't want to screw out because that washer, let's see if I can get you a look here. This washer right here is stuck. So I went and got these vice grips clamped onto it. Got my ratchet back out, and we'll just turn the nut out of the washer. There you go. Now those are those copper compression washers. So that's out. Put that back in the bucket. We're gonna throw that away. Compression washer stuck on there. There's the old compression washer. It's copper, so we'll throw it in the copper pile. Let me see if I can get this other one off. It is stuck on there, guys. Holy cow. Let me work on that a little bit. These things come up. I'll be right back. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So let's put this back up in here. This is the new one. And I found out on the other one it was easier to put the line in after I had it bolted up. Let's hope that's the case over here. Let's hope so. It's got to fit in there. The little metal tab has got to fit in this slot in the frame of the car. Make sure it does that. Just tighten it up. Give Don't need to get Hercules on it, just get it good and snug. All right, that's on there good. I'm gonna tighten that top one up, that brass one. I don't know why that one wasn't tight from the factory. The factory made the, actually we can't get to it. Oops. Tell you what, let's put this in while we're right here. All right, there's a little metal tab right here on this one. Right here. Little metal barb sticks out, and that goes in this hole right above the bolt hole. And I believe this is the one that took the, oh, there it is. Oh, I lost my bolt. Yeah, that's the one that takes the pointed bolt. Yeah, let's get the long extension bar out. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the long extension bar with the regular ratchet. We're just gonna snug it up right here for just a second. Alrighty, we got new copper washers. Got this old bolt, run it through this towel, clean it up a little bit. And I'll get my fingers on the rotor. Let me see if I can turn this thing back this way. I'll try to, I'll tell you what, let me put this in while we're right here. This will be fun. The other side was. Look at that. Damn thing went right in. I got something. Can you guys see that? I don't think you can. Oh, me. And it went right in, no problem. So back to the 13 millimeter, and let's tighten it up. This back this way. I think. No, I'm going the wrong way. Let's go this way. That'll give me a little bit more swing on the wrench. There we go. All right. Yeah, it stopped raining for the time being. Yeah, that's going in. So I'm gonna cut you off again to save on this video being so darn long. And then we'll cut you back on here in a little bit. All right, that's tight. Let's get one a little snug just to be sure. That's good enough. Let's turn this back this way. Let's wipe up some of this excess brake fluid. See, we did tighten that up there, didn't we? I'll get it later when I turn it back. Okay, so now we got to put the new washers on. Where did I put them? There they are. I used the vice grips to break that back because there she goes way across the other side of the car. Let me go grab that. Be right back. All right, as you can see, brake fluid is coming out of that line. So I got the washer, the new copper washer on this one. And the other copper washer goes on the bottom, so there's two. One's already on. Slide it in here. Put that one on the bottom. It's got a boss here. It's made to kind of as a stop. You can't use a regular bolt for this. This bolt's got a hole in it to allow the fluid to go through. And tighten it up by hand as much as you can. And you don't need to get Hercules on this either, just good and snug. Okay, now everything should be tight. I'm going to double check. Let's clean up our mess. We got leaks dripping. Make sure everything's good and clean so it'll quit dripping. Oops, that way we know we don't have a leak. This side went together easy. I'm glad I practiced with the other side first. One thing you want to do is, if you're not familiar with doing these, is just take one side apart at a time. And there was a couple of times where I had to go back and reference the other side, look at it again. First Mercury Sable I have ever done a brake job on in my life. Hopefully the last one. All right, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna spin this wheel back around and just double check the bolts on that side, make sure everything's tight. Okay, I know I got that line tight, but let me just make sure. Okay, when I was on the other side fishing that copper washer off from the jack stand over there, yeah, that's tight. I did check this brass fitting on that side and it was loose. So I guess it's a blessing in disguise that this one on this side wasn't even installed, because I would have never thought to check that. That's just, I know me, I'd have forgot all about that. So thank goodness. All right, now we're going to make sure everything's good and tight here. Nope, it wasn't. I forgot. That's why I just snugged this one up, didn't I? I can feel it just crushing into that metal bracket's bending. I guess that's how you do it. Let's tighten this up. That was good and tight. It ain't going nowhere. So let me get a, was it 10mm wrench? I'm going to tighten that brass plug up at the top. And then we're going to go to bleeding these darn things. Okay, I'm going to top it off a little DOT3 brake fluid. Let me just look at this cap and make sure that is the correct. Yeah, DOT3 down at the bottom. It's the second sentence from the bottom. DOT3. It's in Spanish. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it gravity bleed. This is the furthest from the master cylinder. So I broke this line loose first, and I'm just going to let it sit here open, and hopefully it'll start to bleed itself out. Check for leaks. I don't see any. Look at that, it's already starting to bleed out. Look at that. How about that? When you gravity bleed, you always want to keep your master cylinder cap off. Try not to touch the body like I just did. How about that? It's already dripping. So once it starts dripping, it's getting the air out of the system. Let it drip for a few seconds, and you can close that up and go to the other side. Never dreamed it would drip that quick. That's pretty good. Alrighty, bleeder screw. I'm assuming these are factory calipers. 7/16 wrench. Just break it loose. And let's see if we can get a little action out of it. Always when you're doing this gravity bleeding, keep an eye on your master. You don't want it to run dry. And that's why I just wanted to crack the valve. So we're gonna have the luck with this side that we had with that one over there. While I'm in here, I'll look for some leaks. Looks okay. There it goes. Look at that. It didn't take long. It's coming on out. Get that light out of the way. You see that? I see a little air bubble every now and then. So that's gravity bleeding. You can do all four at one time, but you need to break the furthest one from the master cylinder loose first and work your way towards the master cylinder. But I've had moderate success with that. Some of these old cars don't work that good. The lines are kind of clogged up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna tighten that valve up, and I'll probably get my neighbor to come out here and push on the pedal just to get that extra final little bit, because I don't think that's going to be enough, but we're just trying to get most of the air out of it. Good Lord, that thing was looser than I thought it was. There we go. All right, that's the way I do it, guys. When you're by your damn self, I know they got these bleeders now that you can hook up and just pump them. Beep, beep. But I don't know, that seems to work pretty good for me. If I didn't have my neighbor, I'd probably invest in one of those. They're not that much, 30, 40 bucks. All right, so I'm going to double check the master cylinder. I don't think we lost hardly any fluid, and I'm gonna go inside and grab me a sandwich and come back out here in a little bit. We'll check it, see how it feels, how it looks. Okay, so let's see what kind of pedal feels pretty good. Let's start it up. Got the battery charger on it. Oh yeah. Parking brakes and gauges. Let's take that off. The pedal feels okay. Might be a little mushy. I don't feel bad at all. I'm going to bolt the wheels on it and take it for a test drive. Okay guys, so the time has come. Got the brakes all finished up on it. Let's take it out for a little drive here. I've been having a little bit of trouble with the battery. I had to charge the battery up a couple times, but I'm gonna double check these tires, make sure they're still holding air. One of them wanted to leak down, but it was a real slow leak. So let me double check these tires and let's go for a drive, and I'll mount up a camera inside the car and we'll see how the brakes perform. Okay folks, so we're out here testing the brakes on the car. The emergency brake light is on. It says in the dash emergency brake is engaged. It is not. And also the light for the gas filter neck, I don't know what that's all about. None of that's true, none of that's accurate, none of those are on. So let's just go up here and ride around through this parking lot and get a pretty good idea. The brakes seem to be fine. I don't notice anything. We're on private property, so we don't need to obey these stop signs. On the road. Let's cut through here one more time. Run it up a little bit. Stops just fine. Not sure why I had the emergency brake set for a long period of time. I think the switch may have just got stuck. I think we're good on the brakes, folks. Stops amazingly well. So there you have it. The brake job is done. Car seems to perform fine. I haven't gotten it out on it. There's no tag on this car, so I haven't gotten it out on the highway. Don't want to do that, but there's no insurance on it either, so all we could do is run up the street in this little parking lot, but which is normal. A lot of folks come up here and test out their cars. So okay, so I think that's that shows it was difficult. I've never done a brake job on one of these, and a little bit of a learning process. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much as we went through that. And I know it was a long video, but we're working on this car. This is one of the ones we're fixing up, and hope you got something out of that. We're kind of a series we're doing here on this channel on fixing up some of these older cars, try to keep them going. This car runs great. 132 some thousand miles on it, 04. So hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. And I noticed a lot of folks are saying that they're no longer getting the videos sent to them. You got to hit that bell notification, bing, and you should get the emails of any videos upload. And you need to make sure you have subscribed. My subscriber count continues to grow, and the number of people that drop off is very minor. I'm pleased with that. But there's still a possibility that YouTube boots people for whatever reason, algorithms, I guess. I don't think they do it intentionally. But make sure you are subscribed, hit that bell notification, and you'll stay up to date, because we're all over the place. I'm going to admit to that. We're not a one-dimensional channel. We cover all kinds of things automotive. We tend to favor classic cars and hot rods, but we get into all kind of stuff that's automotive related, even some maintenance and yard work and home improvement stuff. We do a little bit of that. Anything I think I can help somebody out, I'll try to make a video of it. So folks, thank you very much for watching and subscribing and liking and sharing the video. And scroll down and look at some of the other ones that we've got. There's plenty. It's over 4 years worth now, and a lot of cool stuff on there. You can go down, you can scroll down for a long time. You see something you think you might want to watch that video. I hope you like it. Hit that like button, share it. And again, thank you very much. All right, Bob out.